Good morning, Dan, and how are you doing?
I am blessed. I want to hear about your weekend immediately after we come back from this break, because Uncle White is bringing us food for thought, brought to you by Rovman Productions. Join us at the National Theatre on 1st, 2nd, 8th and 9th September to toast out the old and cheering the new Rovman decade. It's a crazy ride and you can't miss it. Stand by for further details. Okay, so let's get straight to it before we take those messages. Good morning, Uncle Bo, once
Dan,
again.
how are you doing?
I am blessed. How are you doing?
I've been hired as a lawyer by Ibrahim, Ridwan Ibrahim.
Asante.
Yes, to clarify that today is not his birthday.
Okay.
Don't ask me when his birthday is.
Yes.
No. The point is that today.
So today is not his birthday.
His birthday,
but he has a birthday.
And since, yes, he does.
Okay.
Since you have put it out, I think he's getting swamped by all kinds of calls from people. So we need to clarify that. We may yet celebrate his birthday another day, but not today.
Yes, but he should let us know what the actual date is so that clarification will be succinct. Otherwise,
well, are we not talking about two things? The fact is that today is not his birthday. Then, as to when his birthday would be,
but the best way to combat an untruth will be with the truth.
What am I missing something? Is his birthday that much of a secret? Is it a national security issue?
Well, it appears it has been.
All right,
forever.
on Thursday, I'm sure I'll put it out. Put it out there.
Okay.
Well, then just a reminder that on 1st and 2nd of September, I take the stage myself to do a one-man show at the National Theatre called A Crazy Drive. And the details will continue to roll on this platform. But please keep the date clear because you wouldn't want to miss this. Then I begin today's presentation with quotations from Busumburu Kofi Annan. We may have different religions, different languages, different colored skin, but we all belong to one human race. We can love what we are without hating what and who we are not. To live is to choose, but to choose well, you must know who you are and what you stand for and where you want to go and why you want to get there. You should never doubt your capacity to triumph where others have not. The future belongs to you, but it can only belong to you if you participate and take charge. There is no tool for development more effective than the empowerment of women. Gather the 5 virtues: dignity, confidence, courage, compassion, and faith. Then you are a man. We don't need any more promises. We need to start keeping the promises we already made. Education is quite simply the most effective form of defense spending there is. And finally, if you are neutral in a situation where one side is patently being mistreated, the conclusion is that you are siding with this wrong. Then this week, Ghana mourns a most accomplished son in the field of international diplomacy, Busumburu Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the UN. Kofi Annan died on Saturday, August 18, 2018, aged 80. The President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, has declared a week of mourning for Kofi Annan's passing. That is the least Ghana can do for the man who, arguably, apart from Kwame Nkrumah, pushed Ghana onto the world map in a big way. His death is indeed a great loss, not just to Ghana, but to the rest of the world. And to pay my tribute to him and to celebrate his life, I bring you a few lessons I have picked from his life. 1. Success does not come overnight. Kofi Annan did not rise from nowhere to become the first Secretary General from Sub-Saharan African overnight. He joined the UN in 1962 and rose through the ranks. He paid his dues. He became Secretary General in 1997, 35 years after joining the organization. Success does not come easy, and it does not come overnight. And anyone who seeks success overnight would also collapse under the weight of the success overnight. 2. It is possible for a Ghanaian to top the world in anything. Kofi Annan became the first person from sub-Saharan Africa to become Secretary General of the UN. It does not get any bigger than that. Kofi Annan's rise to head the UN demonstrates that with hard work and consistency, any of us can rise to the top of whatever we dedicate ourselves to. 3. Don't be defined by your mistakes and the wrong choices you make. Kofi Annan's record was blemished by the failings and shortcomings of the UN peacekeeping mission to Rwanda and Srebrenica, where the UN failed to prevent or stop genocides and massacre. Kofi Annan was the chief of the UN peacekeeping at that time. In 2004, Kofi Annan called the Rwandan genocide, quote, a very painful and traumatic experience for him. He said, quote, I believe at the time that I was doing my best, but I realized after the genocide that there was more that I could have done and should have done, end of quote. Kofi Annan did not let these high-profile failures stop him. He recognized his mistake, but more importantly, he moved on and did not let the mistakes keep him down or define him. 4. Learn from your mistakes and use the lessons from your past to empower you to accomplish more. Kofi Annan is credited with redefining the UN and making it relevant after the Cold War. When Kofi Annan became Secretary General of the UN, he used the lessons from the mistakes in Rwanda to inform his vision and mission for the UN and charted a path for the UN in peace, for peacekeeping, human rights, and the rule of law. And the evidence of how effective he became with these is his winning of the Nobel Peace Prize jointly with the UN. And even after he had left office, he continued to use the lessons from the genocide to continue to make an impact. The Kenyan politician, Odinga, credits Kofi Annan as the man who saved Kenya from collapse following the 2007 and 2008 post-election violence. Kofi Annan allowed the lessons from the mistakes of the past to define his life's mission. And we also need to learn from our mistakes and use those lessons to become better and to do better. 5. Let them accuse you, but let your character and integrity exonerate you. In December 2004, reports surfaced that Kofi Annan's son, Kojo Annan, received payments from a Swiss bank, which had won a lucrative contract under the UN Oil for Food program. The reports accused Kofi Annan of corruption from the activities of his son. Kofi Annan called for an investigation to look into the allegations. On November 11, 2005, the Sunday Times agreed to apologize and pay a substantial sum in damages to Kofi Annan, accepting that the allegations were untrue. It is so easy for anyone to accuse any of us, but we should conduct ourselves in such a way that no matter what mud is thrown at us, it will not stick. 6. Retirement is optional. Then I watched a program that was organized to celebrate the 80th birthday of Kofi Annan, at which he was asked if he was now thinking of slowing down and of retirement. The question arose because Kofi Annan at 80 showed no signs of slowing down. He had been busy as founder and chairman of the Kofi Annan Foundation, as well as chairman of the Elders, an international organization founded by Nelson Mandela. At 64, I find a lot of inspiration in that. I love the model of a man who, even in his 80s, is still relevant to the world, and I wish that for myself. And 7, live your life in such a way that at your death, the world cannot but celebrate your life. I've been reading and listening to the tributes that have been pouring in and continue to pour in for Kofi Annan. And from the current UN Secretary General to all the former head of states he worked with when he was the UN chief, to even those he had disagreements with, and all of them are celebrating what a wonderful person he was and how much impact he made on the world. Not many of us will come anywhere near the head of the UN, but in our own small ways, we can make such an impact that our death will be a great loss, will be felt as a great loss to the world. My condolences to his wife, Nane, and to his children, Ama, Kojo, and Nina. May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace indeed. Thank you so much, Uncle Ebo White, for that. And his life really stands as an epistle that we should read over and over again to tap lessons from.
It does.
For our personal experience.
It does. I was listening to what you were saying about the fact that his classmates were saying that if they had been asked to pick which of them was going to be to rise that high, he wasn't the one they were going to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he, as he went on, became such a giant in the world, and we celebrate his life.
We celebrate his life, and we will keep celebrating his life.
And pray that Ghana will produce a few more.
Yes. Well, there's already one very close, isn't there? Dr. Mohammed Winchamas is Under Secretary General.
Yeah.
Yes, but I know you don't just mean him. There's so much potential in the nation.
There's so much. There's so much that
and
we can do.
in other aspects as well, not just in international diplomacy. But yeah, it feels really good to know that a Ghanaian got there. Yes,
yeah.
and
that a Ghanaian can rise high.
Exactly.
It begs the question: what happens to us when we are in our own country?
Yeah. Very important question you've asked there.
Let me run away before I get into more trouble.
Thank you so much. And that was Uncle Ebo White with Food for Thought. Our memories of Kofi Annan continue, and you are invited to share your words, to the family, to he himself, what you remember of him, anything you like.